Hello everyone, warm welcome to Super Coaching Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in the next and a very important session on finance current affairs. So today in this session we will be discussing the current affairs from 10th to 12th of April, and today the current affairs are not only helpful for your phase 1 but the discussed, or I would say the current affairs which we are going to discuss, they will help you in the phase 2 examination as well, in MCQ section as well as the descriptive part. So before we begin the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that I am audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. And even I would request everyone along with me, copy this link of this session, let's share it with our friends so that more and more students, they can join us live in this particular session. So let's quickly share the link of this session all together and then we'll begin the discussion. Today you are going to enjoy the session because on request of one of our student, I got some messages from students, even I have received some emails, and in all the messages, in all the emails, one thing was common, that sir, we are not finding the statement based questions which can be asked in the finance section. So in order to help you guys to attempt the statement based questions which will be asked in the examination, I have included many questions today in this particular session, and all the questions are statement based, where you need to read out each and every statement before answering the question. So let's begin the discussion, guys. I hope you all are ready. We are good to go. Here we go with the first news of the day. But before that, if you want to download the PDF of this session will be available on my Telegram channel. You can join the Telegram channel by searching the handle that is @Madhav Sir, or you can scan the code to join the channel right away. Okay, guys, here we go with the first news. The first news is now on your screen. This news has a great potential that it can be asked in the examination, obviously in the phase 1 part, but along with that, the way I will be discussing this particular news, and even I will be discussing the related news, even I will be discussing some of the related news to the same regulatory body, that is SEBI, that will help you a lot. So let's read out the news. What does the question says? Who has been appointed? The question says that who has been appointed as the head of SEBI's high-level committee to review 2008 Code of Conduct. So guys, I hope you all are very well aware that the former chairperson of SEBI, the name is Madhav Sir. She was the first women chairperson of SEBI, and she was under certain allegations related to the Adani issues or the Adani case. You must have gone through with that particular news. So with respect to those issues which were prevailing in the economy, SEBI has come up with SEBI has set up a high-level committee, and this committee is going to review the code of conduct, especially focusing on the board of directors, so that the required changes or the required amendments can be done in the code of conduct in order to overcome the issues which were witnessed in the past. So keeping that in mind, we have to find out the answer. But before I give you the answer, let's try to decode this news. Let's try to understand the news. So the news is now on your screen. I'll quickly, give me a second, guys. I hope now I am visible. Everything is fine. Okay. So the news says SEBI has announced the constitution of 6-member high-level committee, and the chairman of this particular committee is going to be whom? So the chairman of this particular committee is going to be Pratyush Sinha. Who is Pratyush Sinha? Sir, he is the former Chief Vigilance Commissioner of the country, and he is not alone. As mentioned, it is a 6-member committee, but he will be chairing the committee, and this committee will be submitting its report within 3 months. So this committee will submit its report within 3 months कि क्या-क्या changes हमें करने होंगे in the code of conduct in order to avoid the same issue which prevailed in the past. वो issue क्या था? That is conflict of interest. Conflict of interest का जो इशू हुआ इन द पास्ट विद मधावी पूरी बुच. इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड द सेम, this initiative has been taken. Along with Pratyush Sinha, we have Injeti Srinivas. This name is again really very important. Who is he? Sir, Injeti Srinivas is the former Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, as well as he is the former chairman of one of the regulatory bodies, that is International Financial Service Center Authority, and he is appointed as the vice chairman. So these two names are really very important. So if I answer this, Pratyush Sinha is absolutely correct. But if someone asks me, who is the vice chairman of this particular committee, what will be my answer? So the vice chairman of this particular committee is Injeti Srinivas. And Injeti Srinivas, if I'm talking about, who is he? You need to remember, sir, he is the former chairman of IFSC, International Financial Service Center Authority, which is the regulator of international financial service centers. Remember this point, it's really very important. Now the question is, ki sir, ye jo committee hai, what it is going to review, what is the issue under which this review is going to be done. See guys, I have given you the names of other members also, but I would recommend you just read these names. There's no need to memorize these names. No one is going to ask you these names, but you just have them handy in these notes so that you can read them if required. Moving to the next point. So this high level committee has been appointed. Because this committee will be conducting comprehensive review. This committee will be conducting the comprehensive review of regulation regarding governing property, investment and liabilities of board of members. So if I talk about the SEBI board of members, I hope you all know that SEBI possesses one chairman. Along with that, we have 5 members as board of members in SEBI, out of which at least 3 members should be whole-time members. And then we have 2 members from Finance Ministry and Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and the last member is from RBI. So we call them these 3 as part-time members, and these are 5 members, out of which at least 3 should be whole-time members, and 1 is the chairman. Who is the current chairman? Sir, Tuhin Kanta Das is the current chairman of SEBI, and he has been appointed after the replacement of Madhavi Puri Buch. And related to Madhavi Puri Buch, there was a case, or there was the proceedings related to what? So that is your Adani Group issues which were prevailing. So now, ये जो committee बनाई गई है, this committee will review the regulations. This committee will review the regulations governing property as well as investment and the liabilities of the board members of the SEBI. ये जो committee है, this committee is to identify the gap in the existing provision and recommend a strengthened framework to prevent as well as to mitigate as well as to manage the conflict of interest. So norms बनाए जाएंगे, norms present किए जाएंगे that in near future if required, what steps should be taken, what steps are need to be taken in order to overcome these conflict of interest, especially अगर board member है या फिर chairperson है या फिर board member of SEBI है, उनका relation with the market कैसे अलग किया जाए, उनकी property, उनकी इन्वेस्टमेंट, उनकी लाइबिलिटी को कैसे रिव्यू किया जाए, व्हाट शुड बी द प्रोसेस, ताकि जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पास्ट में हुआ दैट शुड नॉट हैपन इन द फ्यूचर. दैट इज अ पॉइंट व्हिच यू नीड टू रिमेंबर. इसके साथ साथ एक और पॉइंट इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया जो कि वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कि एक मैकेनिज्म भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा जिसके तहत जो पब्लिक है दे कैन रेज देयर कंप्लेंट्स, they can raise their concerns regarding the conflict of interest and disclosures, including a clear process of examining such complaints. So यहाँ पे एक नया mechanism setup किया जाएगा जिस mechanism के तहत public can easily file their complaint regarding the conflict of interest which is happening in the SEBI or I would say among the board members of SEBI. Is it clear, everyone? So next time, if someone asks you, SEBI has appointed high-level committee. Who is the chairperson? Pratyush Sinha, and this committee is going to present its report after 3 months. And remember that this committee is going to review the 2008 Code of Conduct. Now, there is a homework, guys. You need to give me. This is your first homework. code of conduct was amended. Code of conduct was amended recently in which year? So this code of conduct is not the first time that it is going to be amended, or required changes will be done in the near future. No, recently. I give you a hint, couple of years ago, this code of conduct was amended recently. You need to give me the answer that last or the latest amendment of code of conduct 2008 of SEBI was done in which year? Fine guys, I hope I can expect this answer from you all. Is it good? It is fine. Just give me yes sir. Moving on to the next news. Again, a very important news. The question, I think now you can see the length and breadth of the question. I hope this is what you were looking forward for. So the question says, SEBI relaxed disclosure norms for foreign portfolio investors by revising the threshold for granular beneficial ownership disclosures. So recently SEBI has come up with the update that if you are a foreign portfolio investor, there is a threshold limit. If your investment is above that threshold limit, then only foreign portfolio investor is responsible and required to make all the disclosures regarding the beneficial ownership, that who all are the owners among this particular foreign portfolio investment. ठीक? Now, first statement. SEBI has doubled the asset threshold, relaxation reduced threshold conditions. So let's first read out the news. Once we are aware of the news, then it will be better for us to read the statement and answer the question. So please pay attention guys. SEBI has recently relaxed the disclosure norms for foreign portfolio investor by doubling the asset threshold limit for the beneficial ownership disclosure. Beneficial ownership disclosure word आप समझते हैं? अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ, what do you understand by a word foreign portfolio investment? What will be your answer? What do you understand by a term foreign portfolio investment? What will be your answer? May I have an answer guys? May I have an answer for the same? What do you understand by the word foreign portfolio investment? So foreign portfolio investment is basically investment from non-Indian. That is fine. But context क्या है? Foreign portfolio investor is an organization, or is it a company, or is it a group of individuals, or even a single individual can be termed as foreign portfolio investor? That I'm trying to ask. Obviously, the limit for foreign portfolio investment is up to 10%. If it is above 10%, then it will be treated as what? Sir, it will be treated as none other than foreign direct investment. So remember that guys, whenever we talk about foreign portfolio investment consists of securities and other financial assets which are held by investors. Please pay attention. Which are held by investors in another country. Remember that when we talk about the foreign portfolio investment, it basically means the portfolio of securities which is holded by whom? So the portfolio of securities which is holded by foreign investors in India, if I talk with respect to India. Now the question is, whenever we talk about FPI was earlier divided into different categories. We had foreign institutional investors, then we have qualified institutional buyers, then we have qualified individual buyers. There were different categories, but now we have only FPI, which is categorized as category 1 and category 2. That is it. So when we talk about the foreign portfolio investors, these foreign portfolio investors are basically the group of individuals, or I would say foreign portfolio investors include the foreign institutional investors, as well as it includes the qualified foreign investors, as well as the other investors which we call them as sub-account investors. Now they are combined, they are merged into a new class, and that new class is known as foreign portfolio investors. So this new class It includes foreign institutional investors. It includes qualified foreign investors. Sub accounts, they all are included under the same. Due to which this condition has come up. And what is this condition? The condition says these revised norms which are come up if a foreign portfolio investment is done of value more than 25 crores. In that particular case, earlier, the foreign portfolio investor was responsible. Foreign portfolio investor was responsible to disclose the list of whom? So to disclose the list of beneficial ownership. To disclose the list of beneficial ownership. Now the question over here is, so what do you understand by the word foreign portfolio investment? Foreign portfolio investment, and then there is a next word under the same, that is beneficial ownership. That is the beneficial ownership. What is the meaning of this beneficial ownership with respect to foreign portfolio investment? This means the names, or I would say beneficial investors, they basically include all the individuals, all the entities, all the parties which are investing as a single unit under the category of foreign portfolio investment. So in this case, this disclosure has to be done, and disclosure will be done if your investment value is above 25,000 crores. But now SEBI has come up with a revision. SEBI said no, you will be responsible to disclose the list of beneficial owners or the beneficial investors if your investment is above in total. If your investment is above in total 50,000 crore rupees. If your investment is above in total 50,000 crore rupees, and this is valid in case of offshore derivative investment as well, which is done in the country. So as per the norms, please pay attention. FPIs, as you see, either individually or as a group, holding over 50,000 crore rupees of equity assets under management, 50,000 crore rupees of equity assets under management in Indian market, not for one company, in total I am talking about. समझ आ रही है मेरी बात है? मैं एक कंपनी की बात नहीं कर रहा, टोटल मार्केट में अगर आपकी जो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डिंग्स है अलग अलग कंपनीज की, अगर वो वैल्यू 50,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा है, देन इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू डिस्क्लोज, यानी यू हैव टू कम अप विद द डिटेल ऑफ ऑल द एंटिटीज होल्डिंग एनी ओनरशिप, एनी इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट or exercising control on a full look through basis. So you have to come up with all the details, all the nitty-gritties who are involved. अगस्त 2023 में सेबी ने कहा था FPIs who were holding more than 50% of their equity asset under management in a single corporate group. So if I talk about in a single corporate group, if your equity holding is more than 50% with an overall holding of 25,000 crores, then you were responsible to make the disclosure. But now this disclosure limit has increased to 50,000 crore, but the 50% value or the 50% limit is still the same. But in terms of the value of investment, in terms of the value of equity holding, now it has been increased to 50,000 crore rupees. But there are certain expectations. You can even check these expectations. But before that, if you have any doubt, you may ask, please. Before that, if you have any doubt, you may ask, please. So next time, if this question is asked, that in case of foreign portfolio investment, disclosure of the ownership is need to be done, but this disclosure is need to be done in what condition? So the condition is your total holding, that is equity asset holding under the asset, I would say asset under management. If it is more than 50,000 crores, then you have to come up with the disclosure. Is it clear, everyone? Let me check out some of the doubts. Okay, sir, how the foreign investors can invest in Indian stock market? Okay, Aman, in India we allow them to invest. So there are few routes through which the investment is done. Don't worry, in the near future I will be discussing a topic, that is FDI, FPI, how FDI versus FDI is there. All these things will be discussed. Don't worry. Moving ahead. So if FPI is 50%, see, जब हम FPI limit की बात करते हैं, this FPI limit up to 10% is basically for a single ownership. It is basically for a single ownership. मतलब क्या हुआ? If we have a company and in that company multiple foreign investments is done, multiple foreign investments is done, and each investment which is done is up to 10%, then each investment will be termed as FPI only. But if their overall holding goes above 10%, we will call it FDI only if more than 10% investment is done by a single entity. More than 10% investment is done by a single entity. I'll give you an example. Today, after this class, go and check HDFC Bank. The moment you will check the HDFC Bank shareholding, you will realize that the foreign investment in HDFC Bank, it's pretty huge. It's pretty huge in comparison to 10%. But still, we don't say that there is FDI because FDI term is relevant in two forms. One is entity holding and the other one is the investment done either at the time of setting up of the company and the investor is directly involved in the management and operational issues of the company. Then only the term FDI is introduced. Is it clear now? Okay. I hope your doubt is clear. So what if we are not understanding certain heavy terms? You may ask your heavy terms right away. I'll make you understand. Participatory notes IDR से कर सकते हैं ना सर? बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं. Participatory notes as well as Indian depository receipts, global depository receipts, you can do that. So they have to disclose each and every person who is holding in much percentage. Yes sir. Yes Kumkum, absolutely correct. More than 50,000 crore shareholding collectively in the whole equity market. Yes. Yes, as I've said this, equity assets, core 50,000 crore of equity assets under management. So assets under management, if the equity value in the whole market is greater than 50,000 crores, then you are responsible for the same. I hope Shubhadeep, Kumkum, Fun, your doubts are clear. Let me move on to the next news. But before that, let's try to answer this question. SEBI has doubled the asset threshold for triggering beneficial ownership disclosures from 25,000 to 50,000 crores. Yes, sir. The relaxation aims to reduce compliance burden. Yes, sir. And promote the ease of investment for large FPIs. Absolutely correct. Third point, the threshold change applies only to FPIs from Financial Action Task Force. No, sir. It applies to all the jurisdictions. It applies to all the jurisdictions regardless of the fact that whether the investment is done from which country. The revised norms were recommended by the working group of FPI regulations. Yes, sir. These norms were recommended by the working group on FPI regulations. That is correct. Even after threshold increases, FPI with concentrated holdings in a single Indian corporate group must still disclose beneficial ownership. Sir, this is the fact. क्या वो 50% वाला point अभी भी applicable है? Yes, sir. So we have 50% as well as 50,000 crores. So 50% is with respect to a single entity. As it says, even after the threshold increases, FPI concentrated holding in a single Indian corporate group, if it is above 50%, then yes, you have to disclose the ownership details. So that is correct. And overall holding limit is 50,000 crores. So either 50% in a particular corporate group or overall 50,000 crore rupees in the overall equity market of the country, then it is true. So the answer is going to be 1, 2, 4 and 5. D option is correct. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? I hope now you are in a position to understand the question in a better manner, and I'm pretty sure the question is clear to you. If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. If you're enjoying the discussion, please give me yes, sir. If you haven't liked the session yet, then I would request you quickly hit the like button and share the session with your friends. Moving on to the next news. The next news says, what is the primary objective of India-UK Free Trade Agreement? Now, my first question for everyone is, what is a free trade agreement? What do you understand by the term free trade agreement? If this question is asked to you, if someone asks you what is the meaning of free trade agreement, then my answer should be free trade agreement is basically an international agreement between the countries either to reduce or to eliminate the trade barriers. Trade barrier means I'm talking about custom duty. What is custom duty? When you are importing goods at the entry, when India is importing goods and at the entry level, tax is charged, and this tax which is charged at the entry level, we call it as custom duty, or we can even call it as what? So we can call it as trade tariffs. Similarly, if economy don't want the exports to be high, then economy can even apply duties or same custom duty on exports as well. Now you must be wondering कि सर इंडिया कभी कस्टम ड्यूटी लगाएगा क्या एक्सपोर्ट पर? मेरा आंसर है यस सर, इंडिया कस्टम ड्यूटी जरूर लगाएगा एक्सपोर्ट पर, अगर इंडिया चाहता है कि वो गुड्स इंडिया के बाहर ना जाए, अगर इंडिया चाहता है कि वो गुड्स इंडिया के बाहर जाकर एक्सपोर्ट ना हो। अगर वो सिचुएशन है, फॉर एग्जांपल फूड ग्रेन्स ड्यूरिंग कोविड व्हेन देयर वाज immense pressure on the agriculture produce of the country, so in order to I would say demotivate the exporters to export agriculture produce, government has introduced custom duty even on the exports. But let's suppose if India sign an agreement with UK where India says हम आपके दोस्त आप हमारे दोस्त, मतलब you don't charge or you charge discounted tariffs on our goods and we will be charging a discounted tariffs on your goods so that we can promote international trade. That kind of agreement is known as trade agreement. If there is no tax, no tariff charge, then we call it as a free trade. And if there is a concessional tariff which is going to be charged, then we call it as a international trade which has been signed between the two nations. So remember that the goal is basically to increase the trade and investment by making it easier to buy as well as sell the goods and services across the borders. So if I talk about the purpose of this free trade agreement is to reduce or eliminate trade barriers like tariffs as well as not only taxes. Earlier, like India had quotas that only this percent or this value or this amount of import can be done or export can be done. So those quotas can also be removed under these agreements. It creates a more favorable trading environment. It helps in expanding the business opportunities and it increases the access to the foreign goods. All these is done with the help of foreign trade agreement. It can be bilateral between two nations, let's say India, UK. It can be multilateral between more than two nations. For example, India, UAE, CAPA. For example, Australia, UK free trade agreement, Asia and Australia, New Zealand free trade agreement. They all fall under the category of the same, that is free trade agreement. So free trade agreement, if I say India as well as UK, is it complete or is it still under talk? What will be your answer? Then my answer would be India, UK. My answer would be India has already signed 13 free trade agreement and 6 preferential pacts with its trading partners to promote exports of goods and services beside ensuring the market access for the domestic country. So since 2014, if I say, India has signed 3 such agreements which include Mauritius, UAE, Australia, and even we include EFTA, that is European Free Trade Association. India is actively negotiating similar tie-ups with the UK as well as European Union. So recently UK Secretary of State for Business, I think the name is Jonathan Reynolds. Yes, Jonathan Reynolds announced a resumption of negotiation. That means they will again resume the negotiation for the proposed free trade agreement between the two countries. So I hope now what is a free trade agreement, that is absolutely clear to you. So one reason is in February, UK Secretary was in India where they have announced the same, where they have made this announcement regarding the continuation of negotiation between the two nations to implement free trade agreement. The name is Jonathan Reynolds. But if I talk about one more reason why this news was there, why I have taken this news for you all, then my answer is India and UK, they have reaffirmed their commitment to enhance bilateral ties, particularly free trade agreement as well as bilateral investment treaty. So investment treaty means we will be providing incentives to the UK investors, and UK will provide incentives to the Indian investors investing in UK. The primary objective of India-UK Free Trade Agreement is to enhance trade and investment between the two countries, by reducing trade, by using tariffs as well as non-tariff barriers. Remember that. Why it was in news? यहाँ से एक question नया बन रहा है. We have a new news for you, and the new news for you all is 13th economic and financial dialogue. 13 economic and financial dialogue between India and UK was held in London, which was co-chaired by India's Prime Minister Nirmala Sitharaman as well as UK Chancellor. The name is Rachel Reeves. So ये जो 13th economic, there could be a question in phase 1. 13th economic and social dialogue, 13th economic and financial dialogue between India and UK was held in which country? Answer is UK. Where in UK? Answer is London. The next question which is important from here is, sir, both the countries, they have reaffirmed that they will be again starting down, they will again start the negotiation to sign and complete the free trade agreement between the two nations. So UK shared updates on its upcoming industrial strategies during this economic and financial dialogue. UK talked about industrial strategies like advanced manufacturing, life sciences, clean energy, creative industries. Both the sides, they look forward to sign India-UK defense industrial roadmap so that the industrial ties and supply chain can help both the nations regarding their defense industry. And finally, remember the financial market dialogue. The financial market dialogue between India and UK was held in Gift City in Gujarat in December 2024. So these are the latest updates between India and UK, जो मैंने एक ही जगह पर आपको present कर दी, so that if a question is asked related to India UK, you can answer it pretty well. So what is the primary objective of India-UK Free Trade Agreement? To promote trade and investment by reducing tariffs and barriers. To increase industrial subsidies? No, sir. To regulate cryptocurrency? No. So the answer to this particular question is A option. Easy. I hope everyone has given the correct answer. Okay. I hope your doubts are clear. I hope all your doubts are clear. Moving on to the next question. What is the primary goal of MOU between NABFID and New Development Bank? I hope we all know that NABFID, it is the All India Financial Institute. It's among the 5 All India Financial Institutes, that is NABARD, then we have SEBI, then we have EXIM, we have NHB, as well as we have Mudra. So we have NHB, NABARD, then we have SEBI, then we have EXIM. These are the 4 All India Financial Institutes. The 5th one is NABFID, and this NABFID is a financial institute which is set up by the government for the development of infrastructure. As we know, NABARD को set up किया गया था for the development of agriculture and rural development, SIDBI for small industries, EXIM for export and import industry, Housing Bank for the housing sector. But now NABFID was set up by the government to promote as well as to increase the development in the infrastructure sector of the economy. Then we have New Development Bank. This is the bank which was set up by BRICS nations, and now this bank is basically operating as a development bank which provides development funds, which provide loans for the development purposes, not only to its member nations, not only to the BRICS nation, but also to the non-BRICS nations in the past itself. Now, before I answer the question, let's try to decode the news. Sir, National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development. So what is NABFID? It stands for National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development. It is India's leading developmental financial institute, has signed MOU with NDB to establish what? Sir, to establish framework for cooperation in infrastructure financing and development. I repeat, framework for cooperation in infrastructure financing and development. Trust me guys, इससे ज़्यादा बड़ा क्वेश्चन यहाँ से नहीं पूछा जाएगा. If a question is asked, आज आपको लग रहा होगा कि it is very easy, but when out of when suddenly in the examination you find a question that NABFID has signed MOU for so and so purpose with which organization, then you will be in a situation of blank that you don't know with which organization this tie was signed. So I am coming up with this question, which is having a probability to be asked in phase 1 alone, but still let's try to decode it. What is the purpose of this MOU? So the purpose of this MOU is to create deep and sustainable infrastructure financing market. So basically, what is the purpose? So the purpose is to create deep and sustainable infrastructure financing market in India and develop a supportive ecosystem around it, because India or Indian government is trying its level best to boost up India's infrastructure. I can relate it to the National Infrastructure Investment Plan. Then we can relate it to the I would say compound annual growth rate of India's capital expenditure, which is being announced by the government in its budget. So every step of the government is supporting the infrastructure development in the country. So what are going to be the focus areas? So with respect to infrastructure, the focus areas are going to be clean energy. That means renewable energy initiatives, sustainable water and sewage management projects will be funded under this particular tie-up. Transportation means development of eco-friendly urban mobility solution, that is e-trains, e-vehicles and all. Capacity building, joint seminars, workshops and research to enhance institutional capabilities between India as well as the members of BRICS nation or the officials of NDB along with NABFID, so that India have more insights regarding what is going on all around the globe in order to promote infrastructure development. See, infrastructure is the sole motive of development. If you want to be a developed nation, it is impossible without infrastructure. It's always wrong to predict कि पहले डेवलपमेंट होगा फिर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आएगा. नहीं, पहले इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आएगा फिर आपकी इकोनॉमी क्या होगी, डेवलप होगी. अमेरिका इज नॉट डेवलप्ड. अमेरिका or I would say American roads are not developed because America is developed. Rather, American roads were developed, which helped America to become a developed nation. It was the statement given by one of the president of US. Collaboration between NABFID and NDB will partner in research and capacity building initiatives, including seminars and whatnot. So I hope you all know NDB. It's a multilateral development bank established in 2015 by the BRICS nation, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now, coming back to the question, what is the primary goal of MOU? Sir, strengthening the international trade? No. Developing sustainable infrastructure financial market? Yes. Promoting cryptocurrency? No. Boosting foreign direct investment? No. Establishing joint network? No. So the answer to this particular question is absolutely correct. That is B option, and majority of you have given the correct answer. Is it clear, guys? Moving on to the next question now. The next question says, what is the primary objective of phase 2 of Niveshak Didi initiative, which have been launched by EPFA as well as Indian Postal Payment Bank, What will be your answer? So let's try to decode this. Let's try to decode this, then we'll come back and answer this question. First of all, guys, what is the news? The news is related to a term, that is Niveshak Didi. What is this Niveshak Didi? As the name suggests, Didi, they are basically focusing women. Hana? Niveshak basically talking about investors. So Niveshak Didi is something, if you don't know, I'm giving you a hint. Niveshak Didi is something which is related to women and investment. So this means it is a particular initiative which have been taken in order to make women aware regarding the financial instruments, regarding the financial investment portfolios which are available in the economy. In short, it is an initiative where women will be provided financial literacy, as well as women will be used as an agent. Women will be used as an agent to spread the financial literacy in the economy. So let's try to answer this question. So Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. So first organization is IEPFA, that is Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, has signed memorandum of agreement with a bank named India Post Payment Bank, which is operating under Department of Post, which is under Department of Communication. One time, I asked a question in my paid class, or I think in a free class, I don't remember, कि इंडियन पोस्ट पेमेंट बैंक कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री के अंडर है. आई गॉट एन आंसर, सो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस. देन आई डिसाइडेड दैट कभी भी अगर अगली बार इंडियन पोस्ट पेमेंट बैंक मेरी न्यूज में आएगा, आई help you to understand, guys. Indian Post Payment Bank under Department of Post, which is operating under Ministry of Communication. So what is this Niveshak Didi? Sir, it is basically to promote financial literacy among women in rural, semi-urban as well as underserved areas across the country. So let's discuss what is Nivesh Didi. So Nivesh Didi is an initiative which is a community-led financial literacy program that train women postal workers. Please pay attention. First, women postal workers, the women which are working in the post offices, they will be trained, and community leaders, and they will be made community leaders. They will be termed as community leaders to serve as a financial educators in their local area. समझ आई बात? तो इन्होंने क्या कहा? They said post offices, in the post offices, all the women who all are working in the post offices or who all are the postal workers, all the postal workers, first training will be departed to them regarding the financial literacy, and then they will be asked to train their own community, their family, their neighbors, or their entire village if possible. So this is the initiative. So it promotes responsible investing. So what kind of financial literacy? So literacy related to the investment facilities, literacy related to fraud prevention. Do not share your OTP, do not share your mobile number, do not share your Aadhaar numbers, something like that. Saving habits as well as use of digital banking tools. So what all targets are set? So the targets are how to do responsible investment, how to save public from fraud, saving habits, as well as promote the use of digital banking tools. So this is, as mentioned in the question, this is phase 2. So let's discuss phase 1 में क्या हुआ था ना. phase 2 पे जाने से पहले ये तो देख ले कि phase 1 में आखिरकार क्या हुआ था. If I talk about the phase 1, then I would say phase 1 was completed, and in phase 1 more than 55,000 people participated in the Indian Postal Payment Bank financial literacy camps across India. 60% of the participants were women, primarily from youth as well as economically active age group. Economically active age group means the age group which is in a range of 15 to 64 years. If I talk on international level, we call them as the working age group. So most of them were from the working age group and they were youth. 2 out of 3 beneficiaries, very important. 2 out of 3 beneficiaries belong to the deep rural areas, ensuring strong grassroots impact. So this was the target, and yes, this target was achieved because 2 out of 3 beneficiaries who have received the financial literacy, they were from the deep rural areas, which has ensured strong grassroots impact. अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि भैया phase 2 का क्या टारगेट है. If I talk about the phase 2 targets, as per Niveshak Didi, under the phase 2 targets or objective is 4,000 financial literacy camps will be conducted across India. 4,000 financial literacy camps will be conducted. Nearly 40,000 women postal workers will be trained as Niveshak Didis so that they can lead these camps at community level. तो पहले 40,000 दीदीज को ट्रेन करो, फिर वो 4,000 लिटरेसी कैंप्स को लीड करेंगे एंड दे विल डिपार्ट द फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी टू द underserved rural and semi-urban areas, focusing primarily women but not only women. अब क्वेश्चन है कि सर यू यूज्ड द टर्म IPPB, वो तो पता है, इंडियन पोस्टल पेमेंट बैंक, सर पता है पेमेंट बैंक एट ओनली एक्सेप्ट डिपॉजिट्स, कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड लोन, 75% एटलीस्ट 75% ऑफ द टोटल डिपॉजिट शुड बी इन्वेस्टेड इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी, rest can be deposited in the banks, per individual account can hold up to 2 lakh rupees only, paid up capital is 100 crores. All these terms related to payment banks, sir ये तो हमें पता है, ये तो आपने बहुत बार पढ़ा है. But tell us, what is Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority? Sir, Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority basically aims to educate and protect investors, especially in rural and underserved regions. And this organization is operating under which ministry? Sir, it is operating under Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now let's check out the question. The question says, What is the primary objective of phase 2 Niveshak Didi initiative launched by IEPFA as well as IPPB? Promote digital banking in rural areas, provide financial education for rural women, offer micro loans to women entrepreneurs, train post office staff in investment planning. What will be your answer? What will be your answer? So your answer should be provide financial education to rural women. Provide financial education to rural women. If it's a multi-choice question, then train post office staff in investment planning. So we can go with B and D. So we can go with B and D. Moving on to the next question. Again, the next question is in a statement form. I hope you will like the question and then we'll decode this question as well. So recently RBI has received an award, and this award is given to RBI by Global Finance, which is a London, UK based organization if I'm not wrong. And this award is given for most innovative global financial institution. Before I talk about this, guys, RBI has already received an award regarding Global Innovation Award. Do you remember, guys? And this Global Innovation Award was related to the 2 in-house updates which were done by RBI, which we have discussed in our previous session. Could you name those 2 initiatives of RBI? Could you name those 2 initiatives of RBI for which this prize was given? Any idea, guys? For which this prize was given? Any idea? One is Sarthi, absolutely correct. I have given the hint as well. And the other one is Pravaha. Now, after this award, which I'm talking about, this Global Innovation Award, this was given by which bank, guys? That bank was also based in UK. Can you name the bank which has given this award with respect to Sarthi and Pravaha, which have been introduced by RBI? Name the bank. But now we have a global finance institution which has given the award. So let's try to decode this. So Reserve Bank of India has been honored with the most innovative financial institution globally in 2025's in the 2025 innovators list by the Global Finance magazine US. So it is not based in UK. I was just trying to confuse you because I have very clearly mentioned Global Finance magazine, which is based in US, marking the first time a central bank has received this award. So this is the first time a central bank has received this award. So this has been witnessed for the very first time. Central Bank of London, that is absolutely correct. The second point is, this award has also recognized HSBC as well as Standard Chartered under the same list of innovation banks, or I would say the innovations done by the bank. But this time, this award is given with respect to unified lending interface. Do you remember, guys? In the past, we have discussed this. In much detail, that what is unified lending interface, and this unified lending interface has been developed. By one of the wholly owned subsidiary of RBI. And what is the name of this subsidiary? So the name is RBIH. So what all things you need to remember? What is ULI? So ULI stands for Unified Lending Interface. It is basically Reserve Bank's technology platform which will enable frictionless credit to the public. Similar to UPI, which has revolutionized the retail payment, similarly ULI will transform the lending landscape. With this motive, it was launched. So what is the background idea behind ULI? So with the rapid progress in digitalization, India has come up with a concept of digital public infrastructure, which encourage banks, NBFCs, fintech companies, as well as startups to create as well as provide innovative solutions in payment, credit, and the other facilities. Keeping that in mind, UPI platform is a platform which is providing seamless and I would say, consent-based flow of digital information, including record of various states from multiple data service provider to the lenders. So it will cut down the time taken for credit appraisal, especially for smaller and rural borrowers. It is aimed to bring about efficiency in lending progress in terms of reduction of cost of lending, quicker disbursement of the loan, as well as this is a model which is scalable. It can be scaled to, I would say, sky is the limit in this case. So ULI architecture, it has a common and a standardized application programming interface, which is designed for a plug and play approach. Plug and play approach means you want to start your digital lending, come just join this unified lending interface and start dispersing the loan. And if you want to borrow, you can directly borrow from the platform. So this is what it has been introduced. So let's take an example. Let's say there is a dairy farmer and the dairy farmer is taking a loan. So in case of dairy farmer, bank can find the data from the milk cooperative to know about the cash flow of the dairy farmer, land ownership status from the land records of the states, then insights into his financial conditions through the farming pattern. Thus, this ULI will help the lenders to fetch this information immediately so that they know what is the income of the borrower, they know what are the asset holding of the borrower, so that easy and fast loan can be dispersed to the borrower. Thus, decision making would be automated with the help of the detail provided by ULI, and this loan could be sanctioned and dispersed within minutes, for which this ULI has been introduced. So there is a new trinity. Earlier we had a trinity, we called it as JAM trinity, that is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, Mobile. Now we have a new trinity. The new trinity says JAM, UPI and ULI. कि भैया पहले हम जनधन योजना, आधार और मोबाइल से यूपीआई लाए. अब यूपीआई के इतने ज़्यादा सक्सेस के बाद we are looking forward to have an easy success and easy recommendation and updation and implementation of ULI as well. So ULI interface platform developed by RBIH, that is Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI, along with DICGC as well as Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, and we have IFTAS. Along with this, we have Rebit. So this is the fifth wholly owned subsidiary of RBI after DICGC, Rebit, IFTAS as well as Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. This pilot project was launched back in August 2023, which aims to provide frictionless credit delivery by providing lender with seamless access to the authenticated financial and non-financial data through the standardized application program interface. So in its 12th annual Innovators Award, so this was the 12th annual Innovators Award given by Global Finance magazine, they have for the very first time given the award to a central bank under the innovation category. So the recognition was primarily attributed to RBI implementation of CBDC and its global leadership in instant payment system. I would say yes, sir. This is nothing wrong in this. RBI was the first bank in Asia. Yes, sir. Award acknowledged RBI's effort in fostering financial inclusion through regulatory sandbox. That was also discussed. RBI innovation in climate risk stress testing for banks was also cited. Yes, sir. Recognition was specially limited to the domain. It was not limited. It was not limited, so it was open. So answer is going to be along with 1, 2, 3, 4. They have also made into or they have also taken into consideration, that is ULI. ULI. Got it? Okay. Moving on to the next news. The next news is related to Just Pay. So I won't discuss much this news because this is the question only. No detailed discussion is required. Guys, काफी time से we listen a term, we hear a term, that is unicorn. है ना? India has so many unicorns, and so that a startup with a value of more than $1 billion is termed as a unicorn. So the first unicorn of the financial year, first unicorn of the year 2025 is Just Pay. So Just Pay has been announced as the first unicorn of 2025, which marks a significant development in the fintech startup space. In this context, JustPay achieved unicorn status after funding round led by global private equity firm pushing the valuation. Yes sir, ये तो criteria है that is need to be fulfilled. Company specializes in payment authentication. Yes. It provides UPI infrastructure. Yes. It provides digital checkout solutions. Yes, for major e-commerce. True. JustPay is also technology partner behind Bharat Interface for Money and manages NPCI's core transaction servers. ना सर, ये तो प्राइवेट कंपनी है, इसकी मैनेजमेंट या इसका कोई भी टाई अप विद एनपीसीआई या भीम नहीं है. सो थर्ड स्टेटमेंट इज इनकरेक्ट. Prior to becoming a unicorn, JustPay was already handling over 10 million transactions per day across various transactions. That is absolutely correct. Fifth, the unicorn status reflects growing investors' confidence in regulation compliant India stack aligned fintech firm. That is also true. So answer should be 1, 2, 4, 5. C option is correct, but the third statement that it is linked with Beam and all, that is incorrect. Just go through with the data which is on the screen. मुकुंद ऑब्वियसली आप तो कम से कम मत पूछो, आप तो ये टॉपिक पे मत डिस्कशन करो. इट्स ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ यू माई वर्क हैज इंक्रीज्ड. सर, सो द ऐप विच about digital lending must be generated on, must be registered. Yes, the point is once you are offering digital lending, then in that particular case you have to register yourself with ULI. Even the banks, they will register themselves with ULI, and ULI will basically collect the data regarding a borrower on different platforms, and borrower will raise the request to borrow the loan on ULI, and ULI will give entire information to the lender regarding the borrower so that quick decision can be taken. Quick decision can be taken. Is it clear, everyone? Chalo, moving on to the next question. That's it. So these were some of the questions, guys, related to your finance current affairs. As you can see, today I have increased my number of news, and even I have changed the way to frame the questions. So do share your feedback. Regarding this session, but don't worry, it's just a trailer. In the next class, you will be having these kind of easy questions, as well as you will be having detailed explanation required news as well. A detailed explanation news means those who are joining me for the very first time, guys, I'll just let you know how I cover the session on regular basis. I cover the session in this manner. In the last session, I have discussed only one news, one state, one RRB, in which I have explained what is this news all about, what are RRBs, what are the conditions related to RRBs, how the RRBs are set up, what are the objectives behind setting up of RRBs, how they are different from public sector banks, when amalgamation was started, which committee recommendation the amalgamation, how many times amalgamation has already been done. This is the entire timeline for the RBI setting up. Then we have RBI is responsible for regulation, NABARD is responsible for supervision. Then we discuss the functions about RRB in India. Then we discussed the conditions regarding the appointment of RRB chairman. We even discussed very important problems of RRBs, advantages of RRBs, and then finally we started with the news where it has been announced the merger of RRBs, where the count will be reduced from 43 to 28. Okay? So don't worry, those who are joining for the very first time, ये मत समझना कि हर न्यूज आपको इतने छोटे लेवल पे मिलने वाली है. नहीं, it's just a trailer which I have introduced, or some new change I have done in my class, and I think you all have enjoyed that. So from next class onwards, we will have 1 or 2 detailed news, and then we have 5 to 7, what we can say, small data oriented news. So let's make this session more holistic, and I'll fix my timeline in 1 hour. I'll try to provide you 10 plus news which will have potential 30 plus questions can be framed out of those news in your examination. In every session there will be a potential that 30 questions can be easily framed from the same. Fine guys. Good evening sir, I have doubt not related to this topic. Can you please once explain the difference between KYC? We will be coming up with a separate video on the same, Guneet. Don't worry, I'll come up with a separate video on the same. Kumkum, क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप? Kumkum, what do you want to say? Kumkum, if you are talking about government, center government share, state government share, and sponsor bank share, this is 35, this is 15, this is 50. But now RRBs are allowed to liquidate their shares to raise funds from the market, that is capital market. And if you are liquidating, combined share of center and state, combined share of center and sponsor bank should not be, combined stake of center and sponsor bank should not be below 51%. ये लिखा shareholding, the center and the sponsor public sector bank together share should not fall below 51% if you are liquidating, if RRB is liquidating its shares to raise funds from the market. Clear guys? Is it clear? So don't forget to share the session. You need to answer 2 questions. First homework is latest revision of Code of Conduct of SEBI 2008 was done in which year? This is what you need to answer me in the comment section. Secondly, you need to give me the feedback for this, that whether you are happy with this kind of content, and if I come up with this mix bag, this is going to help you a lot. Give me that feedback. One more question I have asked, but I don't remember right now. If you remember, then do reply in the comment section. तो अभी जैसे वीडियो खत्म हो जाने से पहले ही just complete the task of commenting the answer so that you are free and then you can revise the PDF. Thank you so much for joining guys. Good luck. God bless you all. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.